Hey, what's going on? Dr. Sis here. So this is the first of what's going to be a series of videos showing you how to recover from Birmingham hip resurfacing. So unfortunately, I have cam deformities on my hips and I've had to go through the Birmingham hip resurfacing and on both sides. And so I got a really good perspective being that one, for a living, I help people get stronger, recover, repair, heal, everything. Plus, I've gone through it myself. And leading up to it, there just wasn't much out there as far as like advice, guidelines, anything. So I want to change that. And one thing too I found is there's a huge difference in protocols from one surgeon to the next, which is really kind of bizarre, interesting to me, being that it's the exact same procedure, right? You would think that all these docs in this exact same procedure, they would have like a protocol that's really been proven to be effective based on, you know, your age range and everything, but it's just not, okay? So this first video, I'm gonna just talk about getting ready for the surgery itself, and like having the best, you know, outcomes possible. And then each week I'm going to show you the training I'm doing to recover as fast and as intelligently as possible. So each week is going to be showing you exercise you can do to get back to better than you were. All right. So first, leading up to surgery, one thing that's not talked about by any surgeons really that I've had to deal with, and being that, like I said, you know, my background, doctorate, and all that kind of stuff over that. Plus, I was an athlete. And unfortunately, I've had 9 orthopedic surgeries: knees, shoulder, hips. Most of them were just sport injuries, but the hips are just a congenital defect, which it sucks, but I'm very grateful for the Birmingham hip resurfacing and orthopedic surgery to put me through it. So leading up to surgery, one thing I think is very, very important that isn't talked about enough is getting healthy, right? So after surgery, I mean, you're down to one leg. So if that leg is weak and you have a bunch of extra body weight, it's so much harder. It's gonna be that much harder to get around, move, go to the bathroom, everything. It's gonna slow down your recovery. So I like to start my rehab way before surgery. So leading up to surgery, it's a really good idea to like clean up your diet as much as possible. One thing a lot of people don't realize, I think a lot of surgeons don't realize this, is certain foods that are very common, junk foods, processed foods, sugary drinks, all this stuff causes damage and promotes inflammation. So you're just already kind of chronically inflamed. And then when you go into surgery, you just have that much more swelling, that much more pain, that much more risk, that much more problems. It's a really good idea to get as healthy as possible before the surgery, right? And then, I mean, your outcomes are so much better. Your risk is so much lower. It's just everything about it is better. So I highly recommend that. And I promise you, your surgeon appreciates that too, because for them, the risk is less. If you're as healthy, as strong, as fit as you can be, at least, you know, get your diet on track beforehand. I'll put some links down below of exactly what I do so you can just follow it. One thing too, once you, you know, going into surgery, at least for me, and they give you options. You can either do a spinal or a general anesthesia. So general, they put a tube down your throat and you're just completely out. And the spinal, they just, you know, numb you from the spine down, which sounds a little bit scary, but I would do that one, right? So when you do general anesthesia, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna have a scratchy throat, probably be nauseous. I've thrown up before. When you do the spinal, like this is how it was for me anyhow, is you're sitting at the table and this nurse or PA, I don't know who she was just standing like right in front of me. And I was like, why are you standing so close to me? She's like, I'm just here to catch you in case you start falling off the table. I was like, okay. And then I woke up. So apparently in that time, they were testing my nerves and asking me questions and whatever. I remember nothing. I just remember sitting at the table and waking up, but waking up feeling a hell of a lot better than I've ever felt waking up after general anesthesia, right? No nausea, less pain, just everything felt better. So I'd highly recommend that. So then that's something. And then two, one thing I would highly recommend is, again, pre-surgery, during surgery, after surgery, is back to your nutrition levels. Is my previous surgeon, this is really cool. I've never had this before, but he actually made me get my vitamin D checked before surgery, because being low in vitamin D is not good. It's bad for immune systems, bad for recovery. It's a hormone, actually. It's very, very important. So, you know, I take vitamin D every single day because it's really smart to take. And he checked to make sure my levels are up high because it leads to better outcomes. Other supplements I highly recommend, you know, omega-3 fat is really, really important. Omega-3 fats help keep the inflammation down. That's what your cells repair from. It helps you heal faster. Very, very important thing to do. Probiotic I always take, and especially leading up to and after surgery, because they're going to be giving you antibiotics during surgery and after, IV drip antibiotics, which, you know, they kill all the bacteria in your gut, not just the bad guys. So it's good to get that good bacteria back in you as soon as possible. And the one thing I would consider, and I guess it depends on the surgeon, but I'm assuming you're going to be getting Tylenol, and I was getting the IV drip Tylenol, pretty high doses of it. And Tylenol, like, pretty much uses up or blocks, I don't know the good word to use, a very important antioxidant in your body called glutathione. Very, very important. It's very important for the immune system. And Tylenol just like crushes it. So glutathione is like one supplement that I take. Like, I would recommend getting right after surgery and taking it while you're taking the Tylenol. All right, so that's just leading up to it, some tips for you. All right, so you get into surgery, I would do the spinal. And then when you come out, the one thing, so I was told, like, oh, you're up walking the first day. And I was like, oh, sweet, I'm up walking, that's awesome. Well, you're not up walking, you're up walking with a walker in a lot of freaking pain. So what they do, I mean, they cut through a muscle, detach some muscles, you know, grind your bone down. It's a lot of trauma. So the first 3 days or so, just expect it to suck. Like, it really does suck for like 3 days. And then 4th, 5th day, it starts doing a lot better. And then, like, by a week out, you know, it's night and day difference, right? It's just, I think it's good to have the expectation going in that you're gonna have a few days of some serious suck. And another thing I highly recommend is, it depends on the, you know, some hospitals have good food, some hospitals have terrible food. I still bring a cooler of food, right? And one thing for me with surgeries is, like, I'm super thirsty, right? So, like, juicy fruit is super quenching, right? And it's just like, I crave the hell out of it. So I bring a cooler full of, like, grapes and watermelon and pineapple, whatever kind of juicy fruit I can get at the grocery store, whatever's there at that time of year, and having a cooler next to the bed. And they kind of, the hospital people kind of look at you like you're kind of goofy, but who cares, man? You're going to be so grateful when you're, like, craving something to eat, and you don't have to call down to the kitchen and wait for 90 minutes. It's like, where's my food? And honestly, God, this last one, I'm so thankful I brought food, because I ordered stuff, and all of a sudden it's like an hour and a half later, and they just forgot. Like, it just got screwed up, so it never came, nothing happened, but thankfully I had a cooler of food. So that's something I would definitely recommend. So, I mean, live as clean as possible living up to it. Get on some good supplements. I'll put some links down below, right? Do the spinal, and just expect it to suck for a few days, all right? So the next video is coming up. I'll go over the rehab. Actually, and then too, this is kind of goofy as hell, but like, one of the things with, you know, so during surgery you're gonna be put on, like, OxyContin or some kind of pain meds, which can bind you up, cause constipation. I'm sure they'll give you stool softeners too with it. But, you know, what binds you up is you got all this poo and not enough fluids in your body. So that's why I love eating a whole bunch of juicy fruit, because then it's easier to take a crap, right? And when they cut through your butt cheek, sitting down, the idea of number 2 is terrifying. So honest to God truth, I literally, because sitting you just can't. Like, for the first few days, I just couldn't anyhow. It hurt too damn bad, right? So I would literally go behind my house in my lawn and just take a crap standing up in the grass, right? Full disclosure, but at least you don't have to sit down and try and bear and make something miserable that much more miserable. And by day 4, I could sit down much better. It's just those first few days were really awful. And then too, I guess, more tips is, so the first few days after surgery, it's just about rest. Like, sleep is so important for recovery and healing. And the first night, like, I didn't sleep hardly at all. Like, I just could not escape the pain. And the second night, very little sleep. And it's like, whatever you can do to find something comfortable, get there, stay there, and get some good sleep. Try your best. And for me, I'm not a fan of narcotics at all. I'm not a fan of any of the pain pills at all. And depending on what state you're living in, or where you want to drive to and get it and plan ahead. But I found that edible, and I don't even like marijuana, to be honest with you, but edible marijuana as post-op is a hell of a lot better than the other stuff, in my opinion. And it doesn't bind you up, you know what I mean? It's just, I think it's the safest option. So that's what I did, is this last time I went and got some, in the legal state next door, got some edible marijuana for pain relief post-op. But the big thing is it just helped me sleep. And then when you get a good night's sleep, it's amazing how much healing happens and how much better you can feel when you wake up. All right, so get your butt healthy, get your better legs strong to help you get up and down and in and out of chairs post-op, because if you only have one leg and that leg's weak and you have a bunch of bad fat on your body, that's not good, right? So get yourself as healthy as you can, get your nutrient levels up. The other thing too, they don't talk about this, is so damn important, is when you're hurt, right? Like they cut through your butt cheek and they cut through these muscles, they gotta heal. It's like, well, what does your body use to heal? The food you eat. So you want to be putting really good ingredients back in, okay? So pre-op, leading up to it, and especially post-op, you don't want to be laying in bed eating freaking pizza and drinking soda and just inflaming and damaging and giving your body poisons. I mean, that's stupid. Why they even offer that is beyond, well, I know why they offer it, because most, that just is, nurses, whatever, they're clueless when it comes to good nutrition. But you want to be giving your body really good nutrition, because that's what it's using to heal you. And you will heal faster, much faster, and you will heal better, and you will have less pain, for sure. Like my previous surgery, for example, torn bicep, whatever, sport guy, like I said, I was supposed to be in my sling for 5 to 6 weeks. I was out in 4 days, right? Like, it just felt fine. There's no reason to, it makes a big difference. You'll be way ahead of all the benchmarks they set for you if you eat good, focus on sleep, and get your body as healthy as you can before surgery. All right, so the next video is going to be the week 1 exercises that I did to try and just rehab and get my body back to good as fast as possible. And again, this, it's crazy. You're gonna, around the country, it's amazing how different surgeons' approaches are to rehab. And so the one thing I don't like about it is they all have one protocol, which doesn't make sense, right? Because, you know, a 40-some-year-old guy is a lot different than a 65-year-old man that may be unfit or whatever. So you got to kind of, you know what I mean? You got to kind of adjust it the best you can. So I'm going to show you some stuff, and you know, you just got, and I'll give you some tips and tricks to adjust it to your ability level. And it's just really interesting how one surgeon is like so much more aggressive with recovery than another surgeon doing the exact same procedure. So full disclosure, I prefer being a little more aggressive and getting after it. And I'll explain all of that in the next video.